Sometimes you just got to look at the motorcycle world and you think, what the hell is going on here? So I've got a couple of stories here from the motorcycle press here in the UK. And one is from Visor down here. I'm reading them, and kudos to them for this story as well. But it's Chinese brand Benda. Benda. They're thinking about bringing out a six-cylinder super touring motorcycle. So if you watch my videos from a while ago, I talked about Chinese brands building bigger and bigger motorcycles, and they were starting to produce touring motorcycles. So I was talking about this 2 or 3 years ago, perhaps, maybe even a bit longer. And their idea was to start building those bikes. Then we had that motorcycle that was released last year by the car manufacturer SWM or whatever they were called. No, not SWM. They were bringing out that Swowo 2000 bike, and it kind of was that Honda Goldwing alternative. Right? I haven't heard much about it since, but the point is that these motorcycle manufacturers over there are looking at bigger and bigger things, bigger and bigger bikes, challenging the mainstay of the touring motorcycle. Now, let me just say this before everybody starts typing away and thinking you don't know what you're talking about. I'm not suggesting for one moment that any of these potential bikes could ever challenge Harley-Davidson Indian, or even Honda or whatever, BMW in Western markets, right? What I am suggesting is that these bikes are going to challenge anything that can be sold in Eastern markets. Anywhere where Harley-Davidson Indian might be selling bikes, where Triumph might be selling bikes, BMW might be selling bikes, bigger engine bikes. This is where this is really going to take hold here. And and it stands to reason. If your nation, your manufacturers from your nation are producing these kinds of bikes that people are kind of aspiring to, then all of a sudden, if they start producing them, then chances are people are going to buy them, right? So there's drawings and images coming out of showing an inline six-cylinder engine from Benda that could power a new premium touring motorcycle. Benda Motor, the Chinese motorcycle manufacturer, where their headlines literally write themselves. But it is time to take this quirky brand a bit more seriously. Well, I talked about Benda last week or the week before, their new bikes. So, again, new brands coming out all the time, and you kind of got to think, well, what's going on here? And that was with the LFC 700 inline four-cylinder cruiser. And so it's, you start thinking, well, if they're bringing out these bikes, now you know that you got to take them seriously. Because it's not as if they're just saying, oh, we've got some drawings here, we might have something in development. No, here is a motorcycle. We are going to sell it. Here it is. This is where you can buy it. And then all of a sudden you think, well, okay, if they've already made it with this cruiser, super cruiser here, well, what about this tourer? Is it just all talk, or would they bring it out? Well, there's a good chance they're going to bring it out, right? The engine in question is an inline six-cylinder boasting 1700cc, dimensions that are similar but not identical to that found on the BMW K1600. It's a beast, right? It's a beast. Indeed, the piston diameter is reported to be the same 72 millimeters, although 1.5 millimeter more stroke. The Benda power unit tops out at slightly larger overall capacity, so slightly more. Like the BMW engine, the Benda unit employs a forward inclined configuration. Do you think people have been looking at the BMW engines or anything that and going, what have they done over there? Do you know what I mean? This is kind of, and I wouldn't be surprised at that, but it's hardly news, right? Hardly news that, up and coming manufacturers, they're going to be looking at other manufacturers saying, oh, what have you done there? This is what we're going to do, right? So basically, forward inclined configurations, something that helps to hide some of the weight of the engine thanks to a slight reduction in the center of gravity, and that is key with an engine this big. But exactly what the engine will end up residing remains remains to be seen. Yeah, okay, this is all supposition right now. Will it be in a big Tourer? But if you've got that big of an engine, then it is going to go in a big motorcycle. You're not going to have in a lightweight engine, right? It's not going to be a lightweight engine. It's going to be in a big monster of an engine, right? So, you know, this is definitely geared towards competing with the likes of Honda Goldwing, with the likes of a BMW K1600. Great bikes, by the way. Will it necessarily compete with Harley Davidson Indians? No, I don't expect this to ever even be a thing in the United States, certainly. But I will expect it to be in Eastern markets, and I will expect it to see potentially being a viable alternative in European markets as well. It really depends how successful this company become, Benda, in future years. And you know, you can't really say, well, they're here today, gone tomorrow kind of companies, because they're all China backed here. They are part of the infrastructure of China as well. So it'd be very interesting to see what they do with their bikes in future years. As I say, this LFC 700, which they produce, I mean, it depends if you like that kind of thing, right? You know, again, that's why I always say I don't really give an opinion whether I like it or not. I just say it depends whether you like it. That's the most important thing. But what is clear to me, that if they're going to produce a bike that is very similar to it, K1600, 1600 from a BMW, then it's going to be a similar kind of bike, right? It's going to be a big, heavy bike, and it's probably going to be a big tourer. This is why they've written this article like this. Very interesting. You know, I suppose you've got to ask yourself this question. If you're going to buy a Tourer, do you want to stick with what you know, the tried and tested in terms of Harley Davidson, Indian, BMW, Honda, or would you go for something else? I'm talking purely on a touring motorcycle. Or would you look at value for money and take a risk on something that you've never ridden before, a manufacturer that you've never been with before, you don't know that much about? The thing is here, it really depends what the warranty is going to be like on these things, and also what the support, after sales support, is going to be, and the ease of that after sales support as well. So we've got a Chinese car manufacturer that recently launched here in the UK. I think they're called, is it BSM or something like that? And they're selling these electric cars, Seals, I think they're called. And they're selling lots of the bikes, and lots of other cars. But also these electric cars, they're a real challenge to the likes of the Ford Mustangs and the Teslas as well. Lots of people are starting to look at this brand and say, wow, yeah, this is really good. I like it. But the key thing is that they've actually got a very good dealership support for these cars, and after sales support for these cars, but they're coming in on price, a fraction of the price as well. So value for money, you're looking at these cars and you're thinking, yeah, this works out, whether I buy it on a finance deal or buy it outright. Whereas, you know, if you're going to buy a conventional car or motorcycle in this case, you're probably going to buy a lot more expensive, but you kind of know what you're going to get. Whereas in that, you're going to get it a lot cheaper. It depends what that support is, and especially some of these Chinese brands, they're giving you like 5, 6, 7 year warranty periods. Well, if that's the case, then you've got a really good deal. So they're definitely worth considering. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like what I do here, keep on watching the videos. But is there a Chinese super cruiser or super cruiser, super tourer coming out? Big heavy tourer coming out in the future? I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised. Catch you again. Bye now.